Hello, welcome to Story Time with Dee. We have a new book today and it is called Franklin's Flying Bookshop. This is written by Jen Campbell and illustrated by Katie Harnett. Okay. Franklin loves stories. Stories keep him warm at night. His front door is a bookcase that keeps the wind out. There are lots of books inside the cave that Franklin lives in. He likes to read them out loud for everyone to hear. I think me and Franklin have a lot in common already. Every day, Franklin reads about King Arthur and roller skating, about electricity and baking. He reads about spiders and ballet, and how to do kung fu. When the sun goes down, Franklin reads by the light of 1,000 fireflies, because fireflies like to hear stories too. But if it's a warm night, he spreads his wings and flies into the sky to read by the light of the moon. There is a village near Franklin's cave. Sometimes Franklin goes there, but it is always quiet and it is always empty, and he can never find anyone to read stories to. So Franklin goes home and he reads about gymnastics and helps the bat in his cave set up a trapeze. Then he yawns very loudly and stretches his tail. I imagine that's what a dragon yawn is like. And then he climbs in bed with a cup of chamomile tea. He sleeps tucked up under hundreds of comics and dreams about Vikings sailing over the sea. One day by the stream, Franklin sees a man. "What are you?" cries the man, quaking in his boots. "I'm Franklin," says Franklin, and he holds out his hand. "I'm a dragon who loves books, and I live in a cave." But the man drops his fishing rod and runs far away. So Franklin goes home and reads about music and helps the mice in his cave start up a band. Next day, by the farm, Franklin sees a lady. "What are you?" cries the lady, shivering on the spot. I'm Franklin," says Franklin, and he holds out his hand. "I'm a dragon and a band manager, and I like ballet." But the lady screams loudly and runs far away. I'm beginning to wonder if people don't like dragons. Or maybe she's scared of band managers. Or maybe she really doesn't like ballet. So Franklin trails home and reads about space, and helps the fireflies make patterns like the stars in the sky. Next day in the woods, Franklin sees a young girl. She has bright red hair and the same colors as the leaves, and she's reading a book sitting under a tree. That sounds like fun. "Who are you?" asks the girl, jumping up to her feet. I'm Franklin," says Franklin, and he holds out his hand. "I'm a dragon who likes stargazing and playing croquet." "I love dragons," cries the girl, and she shakes Franklin's hand. "You're in this book that I'm reading about a faraway land." Luna tells Franklin she's read about remote secret islands, about treasure hunts and pirates, about fruit bats and acrobats, and how to be a spy. Franklin tells Luna he's read about sword fighters and fire eaters, about circuses and anteaters, about flower arranging and carol singing and making apple pie. Luna and Franklin feel like they are made out of stories. Stories with exciting beginnings, thrilling middles, and very happy ends. Stories about new people and strange places, and about making friends. Aw, that's sweet. They want to share their favorite books with as many people as they can, so they sit down together and they come up with a plan. I like that they want to share their stories. It sounds so much fun. They hoist bookshelves up high with the help of the mice. They tie ropes around and round to make sure they fit tight. They move a sofa, some cake pans, tie comics on with string to make small, lopsided bookshop between Franklin's wings. Oh, that felt like a tongue twister for me to say. I'm going to try it again. Sometimes we make mistakes and we got to start over. to make a small lopsided bookshop between Franklin's wings. Can you see that? That's pretty cool. Everybody climbs on board. Luna holds her breath. The mice hold each other. The fireflies gasp and the bats cross their toes. Franklin bends down low and runs as fast as he can. He sprints down the hill and spreads out his wings and takes off into the sunset with the help of the wind. Ooh, I bet they're really flying. Franklin lands his flying bookshop in the middle of the village. "It's that dragon!" cries the fisherman. "What a monster!" cries another. "His name is Franklin," shouts Luna, a fierce look in her eyes. Luna's being really brave, standing up for her friend right now. "We built this bookshop together from the books in his cave. Franklin's kind and he's clever and he is my friend." There is a small silence. Franklin shuffles his feet in the quiet street. "It's nice to meet you," he says, as he waves at the crowd who have stopped in their tracks and are listening now. "We have lots of stories that we'd love to share. Please come say hello and pull up a chair." The fireflies light up the shelves, the bats cartwheel along the bookcases, and the mice clear their throats and start singing. It isn't long before the villagers start taking a look, climbing up onto Franklin to peer at all the books. Franklin takes a deep breath as Luna passes out cake. He tells them stories about scientists in Antarctica and snakes. He whispers tales about dragons and how they make creme brulee, and everybody is listening to what he has to say. "Let's fly," Luna smiles as the fireflies dance and the acrobatic bats show off their kung fu. So they all hold on tight as Franklin takes flight, reading books by the light of the moon. The end. That was such a fun story. I'm so glad that they didn't give up trying to share their stories with everybody. They had to go through a few people who didn't want to listen and didn't like it, but they eventually found people who did listen, and they loved it, and they enjoyed it, and they were warm inside because they got to share their stories. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a wonderful night or day. Goodbye.